Have you ever wondered what strange mind-bending or downright fascinating traditions exist beyond your own borders? From a desert where it has rained only twice in recorded history, to an island where people actually worship Prince Philip as a god, our world is filled with stories that sound almost too incredible to be true. Today, we're traveling across the globe, one country at a time, to uncover the most interesting facts from different cultures, landscapes, and histories. By the end of this journey, you'll never look at the world the same way again. Let's begin Japan. Japan is a country where modern technology and ancient traditions intertwine in ways that constantly surprise visitors. Did you know there are more pets than children in Japan? In fact, the booming pet industry has led to luxurious cat cafes, dog spas, and even funerals for pets. But Japan also has vending machines for nearly everything, from hot ramen to umbrellas, the artist, fresh eggs, and even neckties. And in Tokyo, there's a train station that actually meows like a cat when it departs, something done to reduce stress during rush hour. India is a land overflowing with curiosities. Here's one. It's illegal to fly a kite without a license in some Indian states, a leftover law from colonial times. But beyond that, India has a village where no one locks their doors, Shani Shingnapur. Residents believe the god Shani protects them, and astonishingly, crime is almost non-existent. Another fascinating fact, India is home to the world's largest postal network, with over 150,000 post offices, including one that floats on Dal Lake in Kashmir. Brazil's Amazon rainforest is filled with secrets. Scientists say nearly 400 species have been discovered in the Amazon every single year. But did you know the Amazon River once flowed in the opposite direction? Millions of years ago, it drained into the Pacific before the rise of the Andes flipped its course. In modern Brazil, you'll also find a beach made entirely of broken seashells, stretching for kilometers like a shining mosaic. Russia covers more land than Pluto's surface. Yes, you heard that right. The country's massive territory spans 11 time zones. And at one point, there was even a single train ride, the Trans-Siberian Railway, that could take you 8 straight days to cross. But here's something stranger. In the town of Oymyakon, one of the coldest inhabited places on Earth, cars must be kept running all winter to avoid freezing solid. Iceland. Icelanders believe in elves. So much so that road construction projects have been altered or delayed to avoid disturbing elf habitats. Surveys show more than half the population think it's at least possible that elves exist. Another oddity, Iceland has no mosquitoes, making it one of the few places in the world where you'll never hear that annoying buzzing in your ear. Australia is famous for kangaroos and koalas, but did you know it also has pink lakes? Lake Hillier is a bubblegum pink body of water whose color remains unchanged even when scooped into a bottle. And in Western Australia, there's a town named Dew Town where every house has a punny name like Dew Drop In, Love Me Do, and Much Ado. China is home to some of the world's strangest inventions. Centuries before Europe thought of it, the Chinese were already using toilet paper. Another incredible fact. There's a mountain village where people communicate through whistled language, echoing across valleys. And in modern times, China built the world's largest high-speed rail network, stretching so far it could wrap around the earth twice. France. Paris may be called the city of love. But did you know there's a law requiring every radio station in France to play at least 40% French songs? The government put this in place to protect the French language from being overwhelmed by English pop. Meanwhile, in the south of France, there's a village that has been continuously inhabited for 6,000 years, older than the pyramids of Egypt, Ethiopia. Ethiopia uses a calendar that is 7 years behind the rest of the world. While it's 2025 for most of us, in Ethiopia, it's still 2018. They also tell time differently, starting their clock at sunrise. So what you'd call 7 a.m. is actually 1 o'clock in Ethiopia. Italy's Leaning Tower of Pisa wasn't supposed to lean at all. It began tilting during construction due to soft ground. But here's what many don't know. Engineers have been adjusting and straightening it slightly over decades. So technically, the lean is controlled. Also, in Venice, there are more canals than streets. And until recently, gondoliers were required by law to be men. Only recently have women begun taking up the role. South Korea. South Korea takes gaming so seriously that professional gamers are treated like celebrities. But here's something stranger. There's a theme park entirely dedicated to toilets. The Restroom Cultural Park in Suwon. It celebrates the history of sanitation and even has toilet-shaped buildings. And in Seoul, there's a law requiring all subway stations to have gas masks stored in case of emergencies. Mexico. Mexico gave the world chocolate. Ancient Mayans and Aztecs drank a bitter cocoa drink long before sugar was introduced. But did you know Mexico City is actually sinking? Built on top of a former lake, parts of the city drop about 10 inches each year. Another fact, every year in Oaxaca, there's a festival dedicated entirely to radishes. Artists carve giant radish sculptures into elaborate displays for the Night of the Radishes. Norway. Norway has a town called Hell, and in winter, hell literally freezes over. Another astonishing fact, Norway introduced salmon sushi to Japan in the 1980s for ever-changing global cuisine. And at the northern tip, you'll find the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, where seeds from around the world are preserved in case of global disaster. South Africa. South Africa has 11 official languages, making it one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the world. It also has the only street in the world to have housed 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners. Vilakazi Street in Soweto, home to both Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. Another quirky fact, South Africa is home to the world's largest themed resort hotel, the Palace of the Lost City, built like an African legend brought to life. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is home to the world's largest desert, the Rub al Khali, or Empty Quarter. So vast it's bigger than France. But it also has one of the strangest natural wonders, a place where sand dunes sing. When the wind moves across the dunes, they create a haunting musical hum. United States. The United States is full of oddities. For example, there's a town called Boring in Oregon, which is twinned with a Scottish town called Dull. Another fact, in Alaska, it's illegal to wake a sleeping bear just to take a photo. And in Kentucky, there's a law requiring people to shower once a year, though of course it's never enforced. The Philippines. The Philippines is made up of more than 7,600 islands, but during low tide, hundreds more appear. It's also home to the world's largest Christmas celebration, lasting from September to January. Another fact, in a Philippine village, wooden coffins are nailed to cliff faces as part of a centuries-old burial tradition. Egypt. Egyptians invented the first known form of toothpaste, made from a mixture of crushed rock salt, mint, and pepper. But even stranger, in 2014, archaeologists discovered a 4,600-year-old ship buried at the base of the Great Pyramid, perfectly preserved. Spain. In Spain, every year, an entire town throws tomatoes at each other during La Tomatina festival. Literally tons of tomatoes are hurled in one chaotic food fight. Spain also has the world's oldest restaurant still in operation, Sobrino de Botín in Madrid, founded in 1725. And that's just scratching the surface. Every country, no matter how big or small, holds hidden gems, facts, traditions, and quirks that make our world endlessly fascinating. The more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. If you enjoyed this global journey, make sure you subscribe to Curious Crumbs. There are countless more stories waiting to be uncovered, and together we'll keep feeding curiosity, one crumb at a time. Don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Which of these countries surprised you the most?